while we're talking about crime in the United States, if you were watching James Morrow before on Paul Murray Live, you would have heard him at the end of his program talk about this story. But I think we need to reiterate just how shocking this is. And I'm talking about the case of Iryna Zarutska, who was a Ukrainian refugee in North Carolina. She was killed on a train last month, August 22. She was killed. Now, she was killed, I'll show you the vision, and I'll give you a warning that it is distressing vision. And you can see it there. This is vision from the train, and you can see this chap sitting behind her, DeCarlos Brown Jr. He's 35 years old. At this point, he's already been arrested 14 times in his life. She has no idea that he is about to do that. He pulls a pocket knife out of his pocket and proceeds to stab her. And then, cool as anything, dropping blood everywhere, is walking around on this train. No one's taking any notice of it. He then is able to get off the train. It's truly staggering. Now, as I said before, August 22, and we're only talking to you about this now on September the 8th, because it only really came to light on the weekend. The media in the US has barely touched this story. Now, compare and contrast. So you've got a black man killing a white woman. US media has no interest whatsoever. But George Floyd gets killed. Well, it's racist, it's a race issue, on and on and on and on it goes. It is an absolute disgrace that no one has taken any interest, basically, in Iryna's life, because her death is just as bad as anyone else's.
Yeah, well, when I first saw this, I honestly didn't know if I was really looking at the correct New York Times website, because I went on, someone had posted on X, the New York Times posted over 5,800 articles about George Floyd, not a single article about Iryna. I went on, and it's correct, 0 articles, same in NPR, same in CNN. The left-wing media in the US will not touch this story with a 10-foot pole. But if it had been reversed, if it was a white man that unprovoked stabbed a black woman on public transport, you can bet it would have set off the next BLM riots. It would have been everywhere in the media. There would be mass outrage. But when it's a black man stabbing a white woman, absolute crickets. And the tragedy of this, you know, her family survived years in Ukraine under Putin's invasion. She was just 23 years old. Then she comes to the US and she can barely survive a couple years in Democrat-run Charlottesville, North Carolina. I mean, that just shows you how dangerous some of these cities have truly become. So if the left wants to keep on ignoring crime as an issue, if the Democrats want to keep downplaying it, in fact, the Democrat mayor of Charlottesville put out a statement thanking police and some news outlets, just some news outlets, for not publishing the video, because she didn't want the video out there. She said it was out of sensitivity to the family, but can we really believe that? I think it's because she didn't want the country knowing what had become of the city. So the cover-up has got to stop.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it's probably more about, I'm not sure if it's the black and white stuff, because of course if a cop kills someone, that's more sort of outrageous than if a criminal kills someone, because that's what you expect criminals to do. But certainly,
sure. But if a, as Freya said, if a white man unprovoked stabbed a black woman with a pocket knife from behind on a train, there would be, is it racially motivated? There would be riots, at the very least protests about this, you know, white on black violence. How the hell does something like this happen? In this case, it's just had no coverage.
Yeah, and I think there maybe just a tendency to downplay, because Trump is at the moment of sending in the National Guard and sending in federal forces to clean up crime-ridden cities, that maybe the anti-Trump media are just trying to pretend there's no crime at all. It's trying to just sort of downplaying crime reporting in general, because of course, as soon as he sent the National Guard into Washington, people say, oh no, there's no crime here, no, crime's gone down. Look, here's all these statistics that I pulled out, and also the Great Barrier Reef is doing terribly badly as well while I'm here. And to try to to dispute that narrative. So I feel like maybe that is what is going on here, maybe.
Yeah, but regardless of what's going on, the double standards that are at play, it's just shocking. And ultimately, I mean, this is a human life that's been taken because of failed policies. The fact that he'd been arrested 14 times already, and actually picking up on a point you made earlier, Joe, he was train hopping. He didn't have a valid ticket when he got on to this tram. So that just shows you, if you're going to commit petty crime, they're the same kind of people that will go on to commit serious crime. You have to crack down on all of it.